Just about to record you a video. Two deer playing next to me. Just about to record you all a video. And he didn't know I was there. He came out behind me and started playing around in the grass. Now I can hear him shouting for his friend. It's so beautiful here. It's so beautiful. I love getting out into nature. And on the topic of wanting to make a video, I think I will break straight into it and tell you. I get a lot of people asking my advice on mainstream events and predominantly around everything with the pandemic and corona and stuff like this. I have refrained from speaking on it because I kind of approach my life in a different way. I use essentialism, and essentialism is what do I say yes to when I say no to something else, and what do I say no to when I say yes to something. So it's essential for me that I say yes to what I can say yes to today. And if I say yes to too much screen time, too many conspiracy videos, too many truther videos, etc., I say no to a lot of things. And we should all approach our life that way, is my belief. I think we should learn when we say yes, what we say yes to, and when we say no, what we say no to. A friend of mine in Australia sent me a voice note last night. It's not just you, by the way. I've had a lot of people, emails, private messages. So I felt it's time that I say something about this after your voice note as well. And what I want to say is I have all the same questions you guys do, mandatory vax, this, that and the other. But I think for me, I like to just be still and let God take care of things for me, and I'm not burying my head in the sand when I do that, because I'm very productive as a human being, so my methodology works. I know it works. When I see things like that happening, like a friend saying, I'm very concerned about mandatory vax, I'm concerned if they bring it in, I don't want to take it, and thus I'd lose my job and then I won't be able to provide for my family. It's just fear on fear on fear. And really, it's something very fundamental about everything I've said, and people like Jesus have said the same thing, and I've learned it from them, is we should take no thought for our life. And take no thought for tomorrow, not for our life. Take no thought for tomorrow. So, if someone told me next week it's going to rain, what are you going to do about it today? Nothing. But next week when it rains, I might put on a jacket to keep the rain off me. Maybe I don't have a jacket. Maybe I need to buy one today for next week. There's another potential preparation option. But there's a very clear problem and solution. Someone tells you there's going to be mandatory vax. Look at it. What can you do today? Is there something you can do? And if there's not, is it worth giving all of your energy to it to the point where it generates new fears for a future that might never come? Think of all the things you've ever worried about that have never happened in your life. There's a lot. We all do it. This is not good for you. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for your family. It's not good for your friends. It's not good for you. It's not good for the world. What I can say for me is I ask these questions too. But I also wonder why now it's a topic. Because mandatory vax has existed for a while. You can't access education systems in European countries without having a measles vaccine. That's a mandatory vax to access education unless you're going to homeschool your child. The first outrolling of this has already begun. But now the problem is everyone says vaccines are purely evil and satanic. I disagree. I know if you take your dog to Tanzania and you don't vaccinate them, they're going to die within 6 months. I guarantee that that's going to happen. I guarantee. Ask anyone in Tanzania with a dog or a vet, they'll tell you the same. So I've seen vaccines work. Our children who were disabled, all from yellow fever and polio, were never vaccinated. I've never seen a yellow fever disabled child who was vaccinated. So that's another thing I've seen. It's not a study though, it doesn't really count, but just my own observations in life. But certainly the dogs, out of hundreds of dogs, I guarantee that any that weren't vaccinated in time die of parvo, etc. So it's a therapy that worked in our science, and thus we've seen it work, and I see it physically, and so do vets, etc. work in animals at least. I don't know about humans. I've also seen and read the studies of the damage and harm it can do to humans. But I was vaccinated as a child, and I don't think I'm any worse off for it, to be honest. I don't think I have any missing superpowers that they took away from me. That said, for the person who was vaccinated as a child and is now disabled, it's dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful. So I don't have the answer for that. I mean, we want things to get rid of these illnesses on the planet, and we want them to be safe. That's the only answer I can say. I mean, it's dreadful that people end up harmed by them. But for us going forward, thinking about all of that, I bring it back to what can I do today if it's going to rain next week? If I don't have a jacket, I can buy one. If I don't have the power to buy a jacket, what can I do today? Nothing. I can stay indoors when the rain comes. I can do that. That's it. Now, it's not hiding from the problem. It's basically saying that some things are out of our reach. There's an asteroid coming towards planet Earth. What are you going to do about it? There's very little that we can do. We don't have the technology as working class people. Perhaps collectively we have something we can do. But what can you do? Well, you practically go through the process. If they say it's going to hit Earth, okay, then I need to say goodbye to my family, friends, make peace with God, and get into the acceptance of what's coming. That's logically, practically all you can do. Some people won't do that. They'll reject that and freak out and scream and cry and right up until the point it arrives. And I think that they would have preferred to have peace with their loved ones instead of scaring their children when the time did come. Now, I'm not saying the vaccine is akin to an asteroid hitting the planet, but mandatory vax, what can you do today? Can you start a petition? Can you join a petition? Can you lobby? Then do something to feel like you're fighting something that you don't agree with. If, however, you don't feel there's anything you can do today, put your jacket on when it comes. That's how I approach it. Because for the people who have spent 40, 50 hours, every week looking at conspiracies over the last month, they're no better prepared for what the future is bringing to us than what I am. I would say they're worse prepared because they haven't had the peace and stillness to build things around them, to start tackling and ebbing away at the problems on the planet. And this whole collective conspiracy mindset is getting really very out of control online, and it just makes you wonder where propaganda's always been used on our planet. Where is it now? Where's the propaganda? Where is actually the propaganda? Where's it coming from? And I think a lot of it comes from social media. But I think I say that because fear is a very paralyzed state and a very controllable state. The more in fear people are, the more chance you have that they're not going to rise up and challenge you for resource, etc. So all I can give is from my own stance is what I'm doing is I acknowledge these problems and I acknowledge the intrusiveness of mandatory vaccine on the sovereign state of self. But I also acknowledge that today when I evaluate, there's nothing that I can do. But I can change the life of people around me today, so I do that. And when it does come, I'll evaluate then what it is that I can do. But until it does come, I'll not allow those fears and concerns to come into me because, as Jesus said, today has enough trouble for itself. Take no thought for tomorrow. Today has enough worry for itself. You've got enough to deal with today without worrying about what might come tomorrow. You might freak out about mandatory vaccine for the next 2 years, and then in 2 years' time, nothing happens. In 10 years, nothing happens, and you've used all that negative energy for nothing. So that's my advice, basically. I'm going to make another little video now about masks, because I think it's important, but that's my advice. I love you all. That's what I'm doing, that's all I can say. God bless, guys.